Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome back to the model railway news. As usual, I'm coming at you today with all of the latest news and updates from our hobby throughout the month of May. And let me tell you, our hobby is still on fire. Yet again, you will not believe the number of new products and product updates that there are to talk about today, but there certainly are, so let's get started. The first thing is the one that I'm perhaps most excited about, and that is that Hattons have announced that almost all of their Hatton's Originals models from 00 scale are coming back with new batches and also some new liveries and colour schemes as well. So let's take a look. The first thing is of course the Hatton's SECR P-Class, one of the greatest tank engines in 00 scale in my opinion. This is coming back with several different liveries, as you can see. Some of them we've seen before, such as the Bluebell livery. That one was very popular and it's coming back. They've also got the SECR Green, of course, which is one of my personal favourites. They've also got this one joining the range though, which is a new SECR livery called SECR Goods Unlined Green, which looks very interesting. And of course, a large selection of other liveries available too. Hatton's other small steam locomotive, the Andrew Barclay, is also coming back. As you can see, there's a whole host of new liveries here as well, including an NCB Blue, which I think looks very good. This one really caught my eye, the Caledonia Works Lined Grey. How fantastic does that look? That one's exciting. And also a gorgeous apple green, among several more. The Hatton's Beelhack snowplows are coming back as well. This time there's just 2 packs to choose from and each pack contains 2 ploughs. You've got the BR Yellow and the Network Rail Black. And like I say, these are twin packs. They've also got their fantastic Warwell wagons coming back, which are notable because they are made almost entirely out of metal, so very good quality models here. Again, you've got a pretty wide selection of these Warwells, which are of course available to pre-order now. Obviously, it is fantastic news that these models are returning because, in my opinion, these were some of the best models on the market in terms of quality, detail, and also performance. But this time around, the most remarkable thing about these new releases is their prices. Let's take a look. The P-Class is coming back for £85. That represents a 14% reduction on the 2018 pre-COVID price. The Andrew Barclay tank engines are the same price, £85. Again, that is a 14% reduction on their previous prices. The Beelhacks are now £70 for a pair. These used to be £42 each, so that's a 16% reduction on the 2018 pre-COVID price. And the Warwells are £25 each, and these used to be £33 each, which represents a 24% reduction on their pre-COVID price. So, to the defenders of the recent and in some cases astronomical model railway price increases, which by the way were blamed on increased material, labour and shipping costs, I say explain that one. These models are made in China like everything else, and they are subject to exactly the same increases in production costs that almost everything else in the hobby is subject to. And yet, not only are we not seeing an increase in price on these items, which in 2023 would have been impressive because even at their original prices, these models would have been bargains today, but no, we're seeing a decrease in price, sometimes as significant as over 20%. So I really take my hat off to Hattons for this. It does make sense that these models should be cheaper, and that's because the tooling costs should already be covered by now, and of course creating the tools and the moulds is a very, very expensive part of model production, so it does make sense that secondary batches of a model could be cheaper than the first, but this is something we almost never see in the hobby, and certainly most other manufacturers have put their prices up, and they have far from reduced any prices. So that is great to see. I've got affiliate links down in the description if you'd like to pre-order any of this stuff. I expect it's going to be popular and sell well, and I hope it does because Hattons deserve to be rewarded for this, I think. Next up, I have another update from Dapol. Now this is a fantastic time for Dapol, and I say this almost every other month because they keep making new product announcements. And guess what? They've made yet another. It's another locomotive in 00 scale, another Great Western locomotive, which may be disappointing for modelers of other regions who are looking to take advantage of Dapol's ingenuity in locomotives. So maybe that's an odd choice, but it still sounds like an awesome model nevertheless. So, Dapol have announced a Great Western 2800 class or 28XX with 8 different options to choose from. And these range from lined Great Western green to BR black, which sounds very smart. This will be an all-new tooled model and it sounds pretty high spec as well. Dapol say it's going to have a die-cast chassis, tool-free smokebox-based DCC socket for easy chipping, push-together loco and tender drawbar, firebox lighting, which is synchronized with the sound on sound-fitted examples. That sounds really cool. And the usual plethora of details such as sprung buffers, etc, etc. Dapol have said that the project is currently just in the design phase, which makes it sound like it's quite early on in development, yet they are saying they expect delivery to occur towards the end of 2024, so about a year and a half, something like that. Doesn't sound too long to wait for yet another new loco from Dapol. The RRP is $189.99, which in itself seems quite impressive, yet at the retailers, as always, it's available even less. These are available to pre-order for £161.49. Yet another astonishing price from Dapol. This is a large locomotive and yet it sounds like great value for money. So yet again we see Dapol leading the way in terms of ingenuity, features and of course value for money. So more power to them. Can't wait to see this project progress. Good on you Dapol, really pleased to see that. There's a touch more news from Rapido this month, and that is that they've announced a new batch of their Hunslet 16-inch locos, with some new liveries as well. There are 5 new examples on the way for sometime in 2024. We've got this one, which stands out to me. This is Clement in the NCB black with those yellow stripes. They look really striking, don't they? And then there's a few greens and a red to choose from. These are available to pre-order for £110.46, so pretty much the same price as last time, although not a patch on the P-class price, is it, at 85 quid. Still can't get over that, really. And if you'd like to see a review of the Hunslet 16-inch, I do have a full review right there, so check it out if you're interested. Next up, there is a new product announcement from Sonic Models to talk about. Now, it was revealed that an announcement was going to be made at 12 o'clock on Friday, and I was very excited. I thought, what have they got in store? Well, the announcement came, and it turns out they are producing a new Vix ferry van. Yes, just like the Rapido one. So to start with, I thought, what on earth are they doing here? The Rapido ferry van was perfect, it's already come out, it was great, good value, etc. Why do we need another? Well, apparently what's happened is Sonic was already well underway with theirs when Rapido announced theirs, which was about a year ago, and it was too late for them to cancel. So now we've got another Vix ferry van on the way. In terms of price, they're available for about £1 more than I paid for the Rapido one, which is a pity. If they'd have beaten Rapido on price, then there might have been more of a reason to try the Sonic version, but for me at least, it's a touch more expensive. I've also heard that the side doors don't open on the Sonic Models version, whereas they did, of course, on the Rapido. So not too impressed. I'm tempted to say, nothing to see here, let's move on. I feel bad for Sonic Models. I think if they'd announced this model in a vacuum and Rapidos didn't exist, then sure, it would have been a good proposition. But no, we've just had the Rapido one. It was great. Sounds like it had more features as well. So I can't see myself investing. Will you? Please comment down below. Here on the Model Railway News, I have been following the progress of the Heljan 10800 locomotive, and so today I'm going to talk about the latest development on that model, and that is the revelation of the decorated samples. And the photos that Heljan have released show much more detail than we've seen before. They do give you a better idea of the livery, of course. You've got the handsome BR black with the silver bogies. That looks quite striking. There's a plainer black version, and this photo shows even more of the bogie detail, which looks pretty decent. And then there's this BR green, which has the white detailing, and that one looks pretty smart as well. These do come at quite a price though, £216.71. and that's the retailer price. That's not the RRP. The RRP is £254.95 for a Heljan loco. Well, I'm sure it will be very, very impressive, but I don't know about that now. It's a lot of money. Yikes. Bachmann have just made their summer 2023 announcements, and in 00 scale, I'm pretty disappointed. There is nothing new to see here, at least no new tool projects. The range consists only of returning models, albeit with some upgrades and some new liveries. The Class 40, for instance, has been upgraded to feature twin speakers and a new Plux 22 decoder socket, and these are at £195 from the retailers. The Class 37 is returning. This is the new tooled one from last year, and this has some sound-fitted deluxe offerings as well. There's also more of the new Class 20s. We've seen plenty of those in the past though. And the Class 70 is also returning in a Colas rail freight livery, and these start at around £212 at the retailers. So it is a little bit disappointing from Bachmann recently. Obviously they've been working on their 009 projects quite a bit, but not seen anything new in 00 scale for quite some time, particularly in terms of Steam. So hopefully they are working on some bits and bobs behind the scenes, and we're going to have to wait until autumn at the very earliest to find out what those might be. Up next, there is a very exciting announcement from Ellis Trains. Obviously, I've already looked at their Pressflow wagon last year, and that was a very impressive model, very high quality and an extreme level of detail. Well, they've just announced their first 00 scale models, and they are these. They are the LNER Quad Art coaches. These come in packs of 4, and there are 10 different packs to choose from in a range of LNER and BR liveries. These sound like very high-spec models as well, and Ellis have shared some of the specs. And these include brass bearings on the bogies, fully die-cast chassis, apparently, that sounds really good quality, sprung buffers where applicable, separate door grab rails, not just moulded ones. We've got lighting, which includes interior lights and also illuminated destination boards. There's also interior luggage racks and scale seating, and much, much more. These are a little pricey, I would say, at £325. That's for a pack of 4, not each. That works out at a hair over £80 per coach, so quite expensive compared with the likes of the Dapol top light coaches, which have comparable features. But I think given the high spec of these coaches, far higher than a lot of other coaches available on the market, doesn't seem too unreasonable, and it's great to see Ellis moving into 00 scale, and I wish them a lot of luck. Can't wait to see these coaches, and I can't wait to see what else they come up with. Hopefully there will be lots to see. Finally then, there is lots of news from Hornby this month. Firstly, it's been revealed that Simon Kohler, the Marketing and Development Director for Hornby, is due to retire at the end of May. Now, like him or not, Simon Kohler has been responsible for an incredible number of models from Hornby. Most recently the TT range, which was very much his baby. And this news comes just a few months after the launch of the TT range, which, as we know, was a huge gamble for Hornby. So whether this news is any reflection of how the TT range has been doing, I have no idea whatsoever. But it will be interesting to see how Hornby's product range changes now that Simon Kohler is out of the driving seat. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. In other news, the Triang-remembered Caledonian train pack has been cancelled. The retailer I pre-ordered it from contacted me to say that Hornby had cancelled the product due to no longer having the complete set of tools in order to produce it. Now that's a really strange one, isn't it? Do Hornby not know what tools they do or don't have? Or I suppose more likely one of the tools might have broken during production, or perhaps one or more of the tools was just not in a good enough condition to produce new models. I'm not sure, but either way, that's a great shame, because the Triang-remembered Victorian train pack that I looked at before was really awesome in terms of the livery and the finish on those, and I was itching to see the Caledonian 123 finished to a similar standard. So hopefully it's just one of the coaches that the tools are no good for. Hopefully they can still produce the loco and tender bodies, because that's something I would love to see. Really bad news about that. I'm quite disappointed. There's also an update on Hornby's new HM7000 DCC decoders. In an article posted on the 25th of April, they say now that the use of analog DC controllers is not recommended for use with any HM7000 decoders. But this news comes after the launch of the product, which stated on its packaging that DC controllers were compatible, and after Hornby themselves said that you could turn an analog controller up to full power and run the decoders that way.
Next, the model is placed onto the track and the DC controller is moved up to full voltage.
In my opinion, this complete U-turn from Hornby on this displays a real lack of professionalism, adequate product development and testing, which calls their competence to produce complex DCC systems into question. This could explain why one of the decoders I tested burnt out. I just wish I'd been made aware of this issue before testing the decoder. And now that the issue has been discovered, I think Hornby could do more to promote this and make users aware of this. This critical information has not been posted to their social media yet, where lots of people will see it, and a video all about the system posted on the same day as the article failed to mention it entirely. In fact, the video added to the confusion by saying this.
You know, there's loads of different controllers that are not even Hornby controllers as well, where, you know, we're trying to be compatible for them because we don't want you chucking those controllers away. So, you know, it's just created this, you know, we need to produce a, you know, a big sort of like compatibility chart of absolutely everything that's, you know, possible with this system. But we've tried our best to make it as compatible as possible with everything.
Well, at least the chart now does exist. They just need to post it a bit more clearly so that people can take advantage of it. I don't blame them for not wanting to post this everywhere because it's kind of embarrassing to have to admit incompetence like that. But when a lot of people have bought this stuff and they are at risk of destroying these decoders because they're running them on analog controllers, which Hornby said you could do in the first place, I just think they need to be made aware of this in the clearest possible terms, and at the moment that hasn't happened, so we'll just have to see. Anyway, that will just about do it for this month's Model Railway news. I hope you've really enjoyed hearing about all of the developments, and where possible I have included affiliate links in the description for you. As always, if there's any news that I haven't talked about today and you think it did deserve a mention, please comment down below and let me know, and I'll consider it for next month. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Alright, cheers folks, you take care.